Hello, dear students. Hello, dear students. Let's start the new topic hydrocarbons. This topic of chapter 9A of organic chemistry of class 10th in subject chemistry. So let's open your chemistry book and come on the page number 228. Now the topic hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon, it is the simplest organic compounds containing carbon and hydrogen are called hydrocarbons. So those organic compounds which having only carbon and hydrogen, that organic compound is called the hydrocarbon. The most important natural source of hydrocarbon is the petroleum or crude oil. The natural gas also contain the hydrocarbon, natural gas. Now the next topic, classification of hydrocarbons. So hydrocarbons can be classified further, initially classified into two types: a cyclic hydrocarbon. A cyclic hydrocarbon is also called the aliphatic hydrocarbons. It means that if the carbon bond between if the chain of the carbon, straight chain of the carbon is present in the hydrocarbon, that is called the aliphatic. If the carbon form the ring like structure or cycle like structure, it is called the cyclic. So here cycles, carbon and carbon, 6 carbon attached to each other to form a cycle or ring like structure, that is called the cyclic hydrocarbon. Further, acyclic or straight chain hydrocarbon or branch chain hydrocarbon, not the cyclic hydrocarbon, divided into the two types: saturated and unsaturated. The alkane is the example of saturated hydrocarbon, and there are two types of the unsaturated hydrocarbon, alkene and alkynes. And cyclic hydrocarbon further divided into two types: alicyclic and aromatic. If the alternate double and single bond present in the ring of the carbon or compound, that is called the aromatic. If the alternative single or double bond not present, only single bond or only double bonds present, that is called the alicyclic hydrocarbon. Next topic, first the saturated hydrocarbons. And the saturated hydrocarbon has only one example, that is alkane. So what is the saturated hydrocarbon? If the bond between carbon and carbon is single bond, if the single bond between the carbon and carbon and and the two adjacent carbons linked together by the single covalent bond, that saturated compound, and form a saturated compound, that compound is called the saturated compound, as for example in the case of alkane. Now the general formula of the alkane is CnH2n plus 2, where n is the number of carbon atom in one molecule of the alkane. So n is the number of the carbon atom in one molecule of the alkanes. Now as for example of the alkanes, CH4, if the carbon is 1, now C2H6 or CH3 or CH3, both carbons linked together by a single covalent bond, so it is the ethene. Now here the formula of propane, CH3, CH2 and CH3. So 3 carbon in this compound to form the propane. Now the second number, unsaturated hydrocarbon. If the carbons link together by double bond or triple covalent bond or double covalent bond, and they form a compound, that compound is called the unsaturated compound. So unsaturated hydrocarbons, the hydrocarbon which have at least one carbon double or triple bond, are called unsaturated hydrocarbon. So there are two types of the unsaturated hydrocarbons, alkene and alkynes. Next, the alkene. If double bond present between the two carbon of a compound, then it is called the alkenes. So if unsaturated hydrocarbon having at least carbon double bonds, that all compounds, hydrocarbons compounds, are called the alkenes. The general formula of alkene is CnH2n, where N is the number of carbon atom in one molecule of the alkenes. Now let's see the example of ethene. Here the carbon is attached with the double covalent bond, so it is the structure of alkene, ethene. Now alkyne, if the two adjacent carbons link together by triple covalent bonds in a particular compound or in a particular hydrocarbon, that hydrocarbon is called alkynes. That hydrocarbon is called the alkynes. So in the alkynes, the unsaturated hydrocarbons which having at least the triple covalent bond between carbon and between two carbons. The general formula of alkyne is CnH2n minus 2. CnH2n minus 2. Now where N is the number of the carbon atoms in one molecule of the alkyne. Let's see the structure of the alkynes. Here this is the structure of ethine. So one carbon attached with another carbon by triple covalent bonds. So this is the structure of ethine. Now next, representation of organic compounds. So organic compound can be represented by three formulas. One is called the molecular formula, second is the graphical formula or structural formula, and third one is the condensed formula. So here first one, the molecular formula. The formula of an organic compound which represent kind of atoms and the number of each kind of atoms present in one molecule is called the molecular formula. So as you know that molecular formula in an compounds, if the number of different types of the elements and the number of the each different types of the elements present in the compound is represented by is symbolic represented, that representation is called the molecular formula. So the molecular formula of the organic compound represents the kind of atom present in its one molecule and also the number of each kind of atom present in one molecule. Let's see the example. The molecular formula of butane, C4H10. The molecular formula of butane having the carbon atom and hydrogen atom. So there are two types of the atom in the butane. One is the carbon and another is the hydrogen. And the number of carbon in this formula is 4 and the number of hydrogen in this formula is 10. So molecular formula represents the kinds of atom and also the number of each kinds of atom. So in the one molecule of butane consisting of carbon and hydrogen, and one molecule of butane consisting of 4 carbon atom and 10 hydrogen atoms. Now graphical or structural formula of the hydrocarbons. So graphical, the formula of an organic compound which represents the arrangement of various atoms in one molecule in a space is called the graphic or structural formula. So organic compounds have the same molecular formula but different structural formulae. Let's see the example. So molecular formula of butane C4H10 and the graphical formula of butane are, let's see, this is the state chain of the carbon in the butane. There are 4 carbons in the state chains. Now in the branch chain, so 1 carbon attached here, the side group. So this is the graphical representation or graphical formula of the butane. Now what is the condensed formula? It is a kind of structural formula which indicate the group of atoms joined together to each of the carbon atom in a state or branched carbon chain. It's called the condensed formula. So it is a kind of structural formula in which they indicate the group of atoms which joined to each other of the carbon in a straight chain or branch chain. That structural formula is called the condensed formula. Let's see the example of the butane. Now here, this is the structural formula of the butane. In butane, so there are 4 carbons and 10 hydrogens. 3 hydrogen with this carbon, 2 hydrogen with this, 2 hydrogen with this carbon, and 3 hydrogen also with this 4th number carbon. Now this is the condensed formula of the isobutane. So CH3, CH3 and again CH3. This is the condensed formula. Now alkyl group. What is the alkyl group? Now alkyl group, it is formed by removal of the hydrogen atom from an alkane molecule. It's called the alkyl group. If one hydrogen atom removed from the alkane molecules, then it forms a new group that is called the alkyl group. Now the general formula of the alkyl group CnH2n plus 1 by removing one hydrogen. As for example, now the methyl group CH3, ethyl group C2H5, these all are the alkyl groups. Where in the alkyl groups, generally alkyl groups is denoted by the R, by the letter R. Let's see the example. So from the methane, one hydrogen is removed, they form the methyl group. Now in the case of ethane, the one hydrogen is removed from the ethane, it forms the ethyl group. So this is all about the hydrocarbons and their different types, alkane, alkene and alkynes, and also the alkyl groups. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.